Welcome back. We're still with the Executive Director of the United Nations Populations Fund. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you very much.
Well, we left off with you explaining something about psychological balance and how we can really move forward on this issue of the returnees and, of course, the displaced persons. Now, two things were really interesting. You mentioned the intelligence of the army, intelligence of the security agencies in tackling this matter of terrorism. And really, if that is lacking, then we just might have an unending battle of terrorism. What exactly do you think, where do we have that disconnect right now from your own perspective?
Now, let me step back to the psychological support. UNFPA, before anybody returned, pre-positioned psychological counseling for communities and for family members in those communities which were affected. So we trained counselors, we pre-positioned them within communities, and we worked with families of people who had people who had been abducted, so that, you know, they also, because if you lose a family member to this sort of thing, you're also affected and you're distraught. And so we did that. And so in return, when the people that were now brought back, we're also working with them so they can be reintegrated into their communities. So I just wanted to make that point.
But just a moment, please. In your reiteration, I'm wondering, what did your men see on the field? What are you getting as feedback as to the sort of psychological trainings and help they're getting at the moment?
Now, what we've done is work with the University of Maiduguri to train many of them. And they are in the communities, they're working with the community.
How many have you succeeded in training?
Quite a number.
No figure yet?
Well, we have a figure close to 100 in different communities around. And I think the last I checked, we had 60 that we had already trained, and there are still some in training. So it's quite a figure, and we do this. Now, the point I'm making, and the point you just made, is that what would we encounter? Of course, the usual distraught of a family member or a mother who has lost a child to this. I mean, we have to support them. But what we've seen with those who are returning is also a sense of self-depreciation, and they're wondering what their lives are going to hold. So we have to build their self-confidence back for them. We have to make sure that they are accepted by their communities. And so working with both, you know, the recipient and, you know, the returnee in such a way that they can match them and they work with them. But we see a subset of them, which very interesting, who really have almost, you know, they are very disturbed. And we've had to use psychiatrists to talk to some of them.
Largely, is it the women or the children? Or
the women, the women, and some of the adults and girls, you know. And, you know, I think that this is the kind of pattern we are seeing, and we'll continue to work and make sure that each one of them will go the full length with them to rehabilitate them back to their communities and societies. Now, you talk intelligence. Yes. Intelligence is important, but I don't want to create the impression that there is no intelligence in Nigeria. I mean, there is. But what I'm saying is that intelligence has to be built, you know, largely, and we can do with support and assistance in actually extending the intelligence that we have to be able to, you know, get more information about what Boko Haram is doing and where it's doing it and what is happening to the girls and to the men and to the boys, and how their tactics are and how we can, you know, come against them and try to make sure we push them back. It's not a short-term thing, I want to say. It's something that is going to take a little while for us to totally vanquish this. But I think we've started, and I'm happy about progress that has been made. I'm happy that the Nigerian community and our neighbors have actually now taken this seriously. And also, I believe that the international community is helping in this so that we'll get there.
Well, what you said, it's not really in doubt. But again, a lot of people would wonder, how would organizations like yours perfect the art of training psychologically and, of course, helping them to get their balance back when we still have persistent attacks and bombing still going on?
Well, it's about understanding the context in which this is happening and being able to get people to understand that, you know, you have to get resilience to some of this, and that's the only way you can go forward. You know, there's nobody around the world today who can promise you that it's going to stop tomorrow. So it's about, you know, you are out there, you are back here. So, you know, you have moved a step forward. Now, you need now to get your life back, and these are the things you have to do to get your life back. So girls who are taken away from school, we need to make sure that they can go back to school. We need to make sure that they believe in themselves and they can reach their full potential. We need to continue to interact with them so that they don't think it's just a one-time relationship. It's an ongoing thing. And if they have questions or doubts, they have a place to come to.
How would you advise the new administration to work to help improve the health sector?
The health sector, like all sectors, I mean, I think you're talking to me because I think you remember I was Minister of Health in Nigeria. Yeah. The health sector is like all other sectors. We need to improve on our delivery systems. And I want to say, without any equivocation in my mind, that if you really want to reach everybody, the best possible thing to do is to invest in primary health care. It's the best. See, when you invest in care close to the people, what you are going to do is improve the life, quality, and, you know, the well-being of people on the ground. Most important. And when you look at the epidemiology we deal with, those are the things that matter. Water and sanitation. You know, making sure that you can prevent malaria. Making sure that, you know, the child who has a cough has immediate attention. Making sure that women, you know, have what they need before they get pregnant, when they get pregnant, and after. Making sure that we can deliver on testing for HIV and preventing HIV and preventing mother-to-child transmission. And making sure, and I insist on this, and I think it's important as we think about this, making sure that you have promotive care. You see, because some of the things that have happened in developed cultures, we don't have to take it. Better nutrition. So you are not eating, you know, fast food all the time. Exercise, you know, reduction of obesity so people don't get fat. Making sure that, you know, they also don't get into all of these smoking, which is not good for us, alcohol consumption. All of those things are things which we can build. And I think it can be the base. So that is delivery. But you have to also step back and ask yourself, how does a woman in the village who has no money access health? You have to look after a social protection floor so that she can access a minimum package of care. You also then must train health services workers to be able to deliver that service. So 3 things. It's about supply chains. It's about you know, the social protection floor. It's about the human capital development. So that if you have those and they are done in an efficient manner, you'll get the best health for your money. Now, I'll give you an example of what we have done as UNFPA in conjunction with the Ethiopian government on human resources for health. Ethiopia has now produced close to 40,000 people, health workers. They are not 18 months post-school certificate, but they are close and they work within communities and they look after those communities. And what you've seen is a steep decline in maternal mortality, a steep decline in child mortality, because they catch it before it happens. And we've also seen a rapid acceptance of family planning because they plan their family as well. We started it, and when I was minister, we started a scheme like that what we call the midwifery services scheme, which will posted midwives to parts of Nigeria where they've never seen midwives before. I think we need to expand it. We need to make sure that each community is serviced and has all the requisites for it to deliver on it. And they must be able to pay for it.
All right, Dr. Babatunde Osotimehin, thank you very much for your thoughts on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, as always, for your comments. Be a part of the program by sharing your experience with us using the Twitter handle and address on your screen. And let us know anything happening within your locality, especially if you're in the nation's capital. And don't you forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Let us know after viewing the current video as well as older episodes what you think, and of course include your name and your location. I'm Gloria Umezuki. Thank you for watching and see you again.